Well, hello. I want to do a little bit of a little something different today in today's studio video. I'm going to do a little bit of painting and showing you some of my favorite tools that I love to work with. So first of all, acrylic paint. I mean, my favorite acrylic paint is Nova Color. And this color is truly amazing. It makes a great, you can mix this color, I mean, you can mix any color, obviously, but because this color is transparent, as are so many others that you can find through Nova Color and, in other kinds of paint too. You can use it as a glaze and you can use it as a way to just simply play. So I'm going to just start working with tools that are not paintbrushes for this experiment, this kind of demonstration. And sometimes I'll take my palette knife after I've pulled paint out of the jar, and I'll just use it as a way to kind of get the rest of the paint off the knife, but also because it makes such interesting marks. So this is kind of really the the beginning here, just this one little layer, and we're going to get into some working with a few other tools. I love using packing materials, sponges. They make great. This one obviously hasn't been used yet, but I think I'm going to cut it in half first. Pull out those scissors. This makes a great stenciling material. So, dipping it in my paint, again, Nova Color, and one of my other very favorites. I mean, I always have this color in stock. It's always a thing that I work with. I'm using some notebook I think actually this is from a sketchbook. And I'm just going to start to play with moving the paint around through this thing, using it as a stencil. And what's really fun to do is then you can turn it over and get the reverse. My paintings tend to end up on my hands quite a bit, which is why I usually don't have a nice manicure like I do today. Let's see how long it lasts. So that's pretty fun. Another tool, and this also came through packing material. I'm using a new color right now. Another tool is this. I think this is actually on a shirt. It might have been on a garment. I don't remember. But whenever I see something like this, whether it came in through something I purchased or something that was packed, or I just find it somehow, I mean, I find stuff all the time, I will stick it into my little bucket of toys and tools that I use for painting. So far, so good. Now, let's get into a little bit of, we're going to be bringing in some white and a few other colors to sort of mix in there. All right, hold on a second. We can get, this time I'm really just dipping the sponge, a different sponge, right in the white. And then on my palette and just sort of playing with it, mixing the color, which is really fun because it's still wet, so I can kind of mix in and then make a new color or new colors. What's also really fun to do is to start to move the piece around and see where it goes. So no paintbrushes at all so far. So there's paint on my arm. It's going right on my painting. I'll do that quite a bit. Just sort of mess around and play with it. So here's just an area that's asking for some texture. Bubble wrap. Again, obviously very common, something we all see all the time. And let's bring in a whole different kind of color into this. And this is another piece of packing styrofoam. And I'm going to be bringing in another color that I really love working with. This one is beautiful. It always has to be stirred before you use it. Transparent yellow iron oxide. Oops, I just made a huge mess on the painting. So now you can see in person me making a big mess And I'm going to scrape it off the painting back into the jar. I think it'll be fine. Most of the paint on here is dry. But I can play with this a little bit now. It's not a problem. It's actually something to embrace. A little mistake. But there's no mistakes in painting when you're working abstractly or in other ways too. There's really no mistakes. You're just kind of making it up as you go. Now I want to show you this in the it's got quite a lot of paint. And so what I'm going to do at this point is take my paint rag and kind of go in and clean up some of this and also create a little bit of smooth, more soft areas. Now this is acrylic paper I'm working on. So this paper is already a pretty heavy paper that's been finished so that you can work on it with acrylic paint, and it's pretty sturdy. It holds up really well. Now at this point, this is another tool, another packing material that's a lot of fun to work with. And I work with this one quite a bit too for texture. So the way that I've been working with it is just painting right on it, but you can also throw paint on a palette and just dip it in and sort of use it as a stamp. You can also use it as a way to move the paint around. We're going to get something a little bit darker in here, create a bit of contrast, and then I can go back in with a few more other things. So the next step, hold on a second, I have this white. And mix it with some of this. So there's one brush. But the thing about brushes is they have a pointy end. And it makes a really good tool. It's actually one of my favorite tools. I use it in a lot of things I do. All right. We're going to get in here with a deeper vibration, a deeper color. And for me, the go-to is often this, alizarin. So let's get our alizarin. Ooh, yes, I know exactly what we're doing. This is a wonderful stamping tool. Also a beautiful tool for stenciling. Let's use some of the stencils that I've got. So first of all, here's the palette knife. That's the alizarin. Isn't that a gorgeous color? It just really sings. And it's got a nice deep tone, a nice darker value. And so I'm going to work with my little spongy stamping guy and create just some movement like this. But then we're going to turn this around again. I want to pull this in through here too, and actually just use it as a way to kind of paint in an area. It's really fun. Fun to see it all start to turn into a whole thing. Now, this is a point, in my humble opinion, where it would be lovely, just delightful to bring in some more of this pink. We're going to get this in here and this is some plastic. I think this was like part of a dish drainer thing. I don't know, but you could adjust the dish drainer and make it fit your sink, and I think I just cut off part of it and said, oh, this is a great tool. Like that. I often turn stencils over, because the idea here is to build up a surface. That's really what I'm about right now, is building up a surface. And one of the ways that I do that as well is with stencils. Not just, using things as stencils, but stencils themselves. And this is one of my favorite stencils. I use this one quite a bit. The sponges work really nicely just for rubbing the paint in, and you can sort of temper how much you put on. You can control how much you put on, so it can be a little bit heavier to a little bit lighter. But what's also super fun about this is stencils are great for doing a reverse. Now, I don't always do this in every piece, but it's just so satisfying and fun. It also cleans the extra paint off the stencil. Now, what's happening so far is this, which is really kind of neat. I don't know. I'm thinking I'm going to get a little bit more of that more neutral tone in there. This stuff. Mix a wee bit more of this and fingers work. Boy, my manicure is all gone now, huh? It's just really why I don't usually get them, but it's really fun. If you're using a gel manicure, gel with nails, which I don't do, acrylic paint will peel off of it, but it tends to stick to regular. Maybe if I wash it right away, it'll come right off. I don't know. I always start off too, and I didn't even mention this at the beginning. Before I even get a painting going, I put on a barrier cream. You cannot even see the label on this anymore, but it is a jar of barrier cream. This is a Winsor Newton. It's basically like a cream that you rub on your hands. It soaks right in. It's not oily or greasy, and it makes it so much easier to clean paint off of your hands. And it comes in lots of different companies make it. So I'm going to call this one okay for now. We're going to let this be as it is. But tools, playing with tools, like things that are not paintbrushes, just gives you such an interesting way to start creating texture and surface. This will be built up. I mean, this is just the first layer. It's probably going to change quite a bit. And maybe I'll do that in a future video. Thank you so much for watching. If you like my videos here at my channel, please like and subscribe. And look forward to talking to you again soon. Bye.